you ready?
This is the cliX podcast. Here are your hosts, Ryan Redmond, Miles Kane, and Daniel Schwab.
Welcome back to the cliX podcast. This is episode 5. Joining me again is Dan.
Hello, everybody.
And Miles.
Hello.
And we're continuing our road to ROC Cup. This episode is probably going to focus more on the Friday, May 3rd event, which is a Team 3v3 Scott Porter Invitational HeroClix for Huntingtons. Even though it says it's an invitational, all you have to do is show up and pay, and you can play. It's 400 points and Extreme Highlander, which Extreme Highlander means all game elements are considered unique between all 3 team members. This includes figures, equipment, maps, tarot cards, mystery cards, and non-standard terrain. Everybody knows the top meta pieces that you'll probably see on a lot of these teams. We wanted to focus on some more of the sleeper pieces that actually probably have a chance to shine when you have to make 3 teams without repeating any pieces work. So, Dan, did you want to start with a piece?
Yeah. I would like to submit Doc Sasquatch as I just think between, he's 80 points of your team, but given the build it's 400 points, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So you have more points to play with, so not exactly a third of your build anymore. His keywords are really good. And what he offers is quite good. He's hard to kill, especially with tarot card manipulation, playing tarot cards, and his perplexity amazing. Plus 1 to all stats is quite strong.
Yeah. Do you think you'd try to make a brute, animal, monster, or scientist theme? Or Hulkbusters?
Hulkbusters. I personally like him with scientist. That's
as I was
you plug him in where Prime Spider-Man would be used potentially.
As I was getting some pieces, I was seeing a lot of scientist was a pretty common keyword that I was coming up with.
Oh, see, I really like him and Titanium, I guess, but that's just
on
like brute. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a solid choice to start with for sure. There's a ton of playable primes, and with 3 people, I think that's he might not be reached for, but I think people need to give him a second look, especially if you're trying to stretch the meta.
Yeah, this is the type of piece that you might see on a 3rd team for sure. Mm-hmm. Miles, you got a piece?
Yeah. So one of the most played keywords is going to be mystical. And there's so many great mystical pieces out there. Everyone can't play Arachnite, and so there's a figure that I really, really like. I've been talking about him ever since he came out from Avengers 60. I think he fits the bill sort of with a similar play style that you could do. I mean, it's a little different, but Legacy Black Knight, I think for 50 points brings a ton of he brings so much to a team that I think people are really being slept on, especially if you give him Chthon. Now, Chthon's going to be one of those pieces that I think that when people look at who's going to use Chthon, I think they need to build first without Chthon and compare each person's team and see who Chthon benefits the most from. And I think if you have a Legacy Black Knight on one of those 3 teams, I think that he's a perfect candidate. He has a close combat expert, and whenever he attacks, if he doesn't KO someone, you can heal him 2 clicks. So and he has a 10 range or 10 speed hypersonic, so you can just bring him all the way across the map, hit someone, and not worry about taking that unavoidable because you're going to heal as long as you didn't kill them. And I think that's a great use for Chthon, and I think that's a great use for a secondary attacker, or if you're left with a bunch of, pieces that aren't meta because you have two partners that decide that, no, we want everything. I think it would be great for you to actually look at this figure more, for sure. I'm not sure how you guys feel about him, but I think he actually has a chance in Modern in one of those outset builds, including budget, because right now you can get him in the Legacy card for $20. So I'm really high on Black Knight for sure.
Well, you can put him with a mystical team, and then if just that player has more mystical pieces and Chthon, you can always choose him if that seems to be the right play for that match. And then if you do end up playing him with like a ROC Knight, you do get the Defender's TA on him, so you can share the defense, because that's one of his biggest weaknesses is his defense is pretty low. But if you have him...
they gave him traded reflexes, so he's at least an 18 up close with super senses. So they did help him out a little bit, but yeah.
What is he not up close?
He's going to be a 16.
Yeah.
17 with Chthon.
So,
so
I mean, next to a ROC Knight, he starts at an 18. Yeah. So with the combat reflex, he'll go up to a 20. If he's on the stop click, he's a 19. So there's definitely some cool stuff with that. And then he does have the Avengers TA too. So this is a piece where he's 50 points, but definitely a really cool thing that you could add to a team that maybe needs to get fleshed out a little bit more.
Yeah, that's why I didn't. Yeah, you would never choose him over a ROC Knight. But it's one of those sleeper figures that he can do damage, because with Close Combat Expert, he's hitting 11 for 4 exploit, and Chthon would be a 12 exploit for 5. So I mean, you want to pick his targets, I think, more. I think he's probably just not one of those point and click pieces, but I do really like him.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that I don't think you'll see is a Black Lantern team, but I think that if you take Necron and you single out a piece with Necron and go in kind of like on a gimmick, I think that has potential. So I think a piece like the Black Lantern Martian Manhunter would make for a good attacker. If you can go all in on a map with a lot of elevated and get the team that has the Carnage Silver Surfer and just kind of take advantage of the map, because his special attack power is it ignores characters, elevated, and hindering, and then he still has the movement through characters and blocking. So he's got sidestep and stealth. He's 60 points. He's got just his regular shape change as his first where he starts, but as soon as he starts healing, then he's going to have a 4 damage, and his shape changes when Martian Manhunter uses it and succeeds. After resolutions, deal the attacker damage equal to the number of action tokens on them. I don't see anybody playing this guy, but I still think for 60 points on a team that has Necron and can heal up is pretty good.
I actually will be very surprised if there's not multiple Black Lantern teams.
Full Black Lantern teams?
Full Black Lantern teams. I think 400 points opens it up to where Black Lanterns are going to... I think Black Lanterns do have a decent chance of being played. I actually like the Black Lanterns in this format too.
And then giving them both Scott Porters
probably be considered a sleeper keyword. Yeah, I mean, you can't do Scott Porters, but I mean, you have Tawert now, so you can give someone support. So I think they probably won't be played, but I'm going to be very surprised if they're not played, because I think 400 points, it just screams like this is the time for a Black Lantern. Everyone always talk them up about healing, and no one's really used them. Like, this is the time to shine.
I just don't think that you're even on 400 points putting Superman on the team for the leadership, so it's always just best to go with Necron, 1 Black Lantern, and go in on the gimmick that they do.
Oh, I think it's best too. I'm just thinking that I just can see multiple people going all in on it.
Yeah.
I think Superman is completely overrated, but I think people are going to go all in on it, thinking at the 400 points.
They were pretty hyped in the beginning, so this is, if there's an opportunity for them to be played, this is it right here.
It's this, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Dan, you got another one?
Martian Manager, I think, is the best.
Yes, I also went to AV60, and I submit the Rare Falcon. there's not a lot of incredible TK right now, and I think also given like some of the new stuff that came out, like Allegra de Fontaine being able to bring a lot of other characters in to say Thunderbolts. I think him being able to drop ship a lot more characters that way could be really good. I mean, his keywords aren't really that bad. Avengers, Soldier, Avengers, still quite good, and I think Soldier is like on the precipice of being good. Like it's super close. So I think him being able to just drop ship someone, pretty much across the map is really good, and he can still carry someone up with him as well. So.
And I came across one of them at Adepticon too, so I definitely think you're going to see this guy on the 3v3. Someone will play him for sure on one of the teams. Did you mention the Valentina Allegra thing?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'll give him the Thunderbolts, and then you can get him on a team with Assassin, Soldier, or Spy also too. So I could see that trick. I know people are trying to make that work.
I think that's the biggest thing, especially with the lack of like K right now, is a figure like that where he's 50 points, but he's not only just your like pseudo TK, he can also attack.
Yeah, he's already...
and I think that's people are shoehorning him in as just a placement figure instead of an attacker when he actually has a decent attack.
Yeah, I've seen him attack quite a few times when I played against him as just like a third person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Falcon, and I'm glad that you brought up Valentina because that actually segues perfect into who I was gonna recommend people play.
Well, yeah, that's one of the limiting things with him is because he only has Soldier and Avengers. I think it is, right?
Yeah.
All right, what do you got then?
Yeah. So from the same set, AV60, we're going with another legacy, 50-point legacy Hawkeye, who is perfect with Valentina because he has Thunderbolts and he has a trait that at the beginning of the game you choose a copyable team ability an opposing character can use. This game, friendly characters with this Thunderbolts keyword can use that team ability. So now you have Falcon on there as well as Hawkeye. Falcon's placement works great with Hawkeye. And now you're also going to be able to choose any team ability that Falcon can also benefit from. So I think Valentina is the one that we actually both didn't say, but I think Valentina makes Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts could be seeing some great play for sure.
Yeah, I like that combo.
Because Hawkeye's a great attacker. He's a 1x2, so you can't TK him. So he works great with Falcon. 10 range triple target is huge. His trick shots are decent. If you give him the trick arrows, I mean that could be fun too. Yeah, Thunderbolts is. I don't think we're going to see a Thunderbolts team, and it's going to be sad. But it would be really fun to see, and I think they could actually make some waves in this tournament if someone decided to go that route. So if someone's listening and they're not quite sure what to play, definitely look into Thunderbolts for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a sleeper. I put on, what is this, Notorious Sinestro? No, this is Batman Team Up Sinestro, the 046 one. So this is the one that has the Perplex traded, and when he uses it, he may negatively modify damage values. And then he's got a Pulse Wave if you play him at 75 points, which is knockback, and then each hit opposing character is dealt 2 damage instead of 1. And then he's also your leadership and outwit. He does, if you're playing him on the same team as the Porter and you're giving Porter the yellow ring and you don't give it to him, he does have the Herald keyword, so he can get one of the new gods and be the avatar for free, which is nice. As his main things are Cosmic and Ruler, though, as far as keywords. So I think that's pretty strong. Leadership is going to be hard to get on some of these teams.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think 75 points is the play for him. I do like him at 125 just because of the attack, but just saving 50 points is, I think, extremely good for that leadership outwit combo.
Yeah, another figure for 50
the Herald
points is too much.
Yeah.
So that's a piece I like.
Not being able to... Yes.
Dan?
Next I have LE Watcher, the one that got released at Worlds last year, I think. Or he was part of the if you bought the hotel kit or like the hotel bundle.
Yeah, you got him.
So he's a bit expensive at 125, but comes with 2 stop clicks. He's got a great attack power at the end of his dial, which you'll most likely see for sure. Yeah, his stop clicks are good. They're invincible senses. So he's got Herald, so he can be either you can do the the Egyptian gods, or you can obviously equip him with something like, I know people are on him with Soul Sword too.
I like him with Soul Sword, yeah.
So, but I don't think that, say, like the gods are crazy to put on him for free either. I don't think that's a bad choice either.
I actually, him with the motorcycle, I think is good, giving him the option for running shots, take advantage of his range.
Sure.
I think that's the one thing that hurts, that he has high range, but he only has charge. And I
Yeah.
think giving that 15 points, I know is a lot. But you could also go the route of, if you're going motorcycle, to give him the an extra rollout by going to charge. I know he already has charge, but at least bumps up his speed and gives him super senses.
Which he has on his
So,
stop
and-
click too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be nice to have him super senses throughout the entire dial.
With the 7
That's
range,
why I like running shot.
the 7 range and 2 bolts, I do like it's Towerette that gives outwit, right?
Yeah.
So being able to
Yeah,
see through the
outwit.
hindering, a 7 range outwit, that's not bad. But I'm not sure if I like that better, or giving him the Soul Sword, because he already has Mystics with 2 stop clicks, so he's just going to bounce right back off that 18 back into the 19 invincible. So I think both of those are pretty strong options. I do like this guy a lot, though.
Yeah. But I don't hate Poison and Steel Energy. There's no charge top dial.
Oh, yeah.
So he's just one of those that's like, he's a lot of points, and he only attacks. He at least has 2 bolts, but he's only attacking the 1 time a turn. So,
And he's a harder sell in 300, but 400 I think definitely opens it up a little bit more for him. So he's pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got, Miles?
So I have a 200-point piece, which I'm going to be running at States. So this is with an extra 100 points. It's going to be the 200-point Moon Knight. With him with Chthon and Khonshu is a great combo. Now, I know he doesn't have a lot of reducers, but what he does have is extremely good. He's a retail figure. He has a free heal click. He's got 3 stops. Knockback and stuff can, hurt him a little bit. But he's going to be a 20 defense. And sometimes it's good that you have one person say, you know what? You guys build with all of this stuff. Let me go full potato. Let me go tent pole. And sometimes that works, especially if you pick the right seat and you're going against optimal matchups. Because that's another thing in the 3v3 that a lot of people, I think when they're building teams, they're probably overthinking a lot. There's a lot of things that you're just not going to see because everything is extreme Highlander.
You have a
So the chances of you going against, so the chances of you going against counters to your team are relatively low.
Right.
So a figure like Moon Knight, especially with 400 points, you can, I think, work around his weaknesses more, because you have a 33% chance, essentially, if not 66, of getting a matchup where he actually is favored. Because you have figures out there like Kong and stuff, that they have really high attacks. You have a 1 out of 3 chance to face that figure. So I think now is the time to play figures like this, tentpole figures, with 200 points of support instead of 100. There's a lot more you can do. Especially, I think Moon Knight's honestly the best 200-point figure. And I think he's viable in Modern, and I'm not just doing it as a joke. I've actually tested the team quite a bit, and it's super simple, and it's fun, and it seems to be viable. It may not be top, but you know what? You might be surprised and get top 8 finish with him, and I think you can get even higher if you're working on a 3v3.
So at 400 and him being 200 points, you said Chthon and Khonshu on him, or
Yeah.
yeah. What
Yep.
what other keyword would you be focusing on then with him?
Most likely, you're probably going to go mystical or deity. Deity works out with a bunch of stuff. You can say you can limit. You can give everybody like the majority of things. Throw Blackheart on there. Throw Necron on there. You got Kong with deity. Uh, you can even go Herald. I prefer deity myself.
He still has scientists
Main force
too.
Khonshu, and he has scientists as well. You can go that route. But I prefer deity just because you get the Blackheart. And I think Blackheart getting him because he gets full map with Blackheart essentially.
Yeah.
And he can pretty much get 2 attacks.
I mean, you can also
Herald
do.
can be thrown on there.
You can also just do
but-
mystical too, as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, I would want to go mystical, but I think the problem with that is that now you're using a lot of pieces, and so you're gonna have one of the three is probably gonna go heavy on mystical because mystical is a top keyword. So I
yeah,
think if you're gonna use Moon Knight, teaming him up with a figure like a Necron and going deity, I think is beneficial because I mean deity brings you Blackheart and Necron, which is really good. You can even get some MOE swap if you want. Venom Thanos is on there, who actually is not bad at all. You can even throw on that Watcher, Moon Knight, and what's his name? Blackhearts. I know that's your team right there, but I mean you're going to go in and hit someone hard with 25.
That's getting
more
You won't-
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
you won't be able to poof Watcher though. So there is that.
No, yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why. But with deity, you could get Kong and Blackheart and Necron. That leaves you with 60 points. So you can go from there. I mean, Venom Thanos has monster. He gives monster powers. So as long as if you move Venom Thanos up there, you can go ahead and give Kong, anything you want. You also have more 50 points.
Yeah, Kong with a shape change or close combat expert, kind of hilarious.
Yeah, the Necron's there because I think Necron's like you already talked about when you were talking about Black Lanterns. Necron's just a great piece. He's the best of them because he can self heal, and he's only 40 points.
Yeah, see, that's what I always thought was like 40 points for that of just a. If something dies, he's 2 clicks up. Seems
Yeah,
like
you put him with Moon Knight. Moon Knight's killing someone. So
yeah,
if Moon Knight hits someone with Mystics, he gets to place and make a free attack, and he's hitting 13 for 5 with Chthon.
Yeah.
With Precision Strike and Exploit. So if you running shot hit someone for 5 that has Mystics, you now place, and now you're doing 5 Exploit. He's killing someone. Necron's healing up 2. And then Kong's able to get, because normally you want to try and limit your figures, especially with Moon Knight with Kong. I think that's a great combo because you're going to have a smaller force, which means Kong's going to be able to take 2 actions.
Absolutely.
So you can get 4 attacks with 2 figures.
Yeah, that's a little stronger. Yeah.
well, and that and Moon Knight can then heal back off too because he has his free heal once turn, so you can at least eliminate the con damage.
Yeah.
Next, Soldier Supreme. This guy is really good. Just nobody plays him. So he's got a trait which is once per turn when one or more friendly characters within range and line of fire would be hit, you may roll 2d6s. If you do, and your roll is equal to or greater than the attacker's finalized roll, the attack automatically misses all targets, and all targets heal 1 click, and that's protected pulse wave. He's got improved targeting through characters and hindering, 6 range, 2 bolts. You're probably not, it's the same thing with, at 125 points, stats are a little bit better, but you're probably not doing that for another 50 points. So you're playing him at the 75, which is a 10 speed running shot, 11 pen psi, and then a special defense power, which is both combat reflexes and ESD with invulnerability. And then he has at the end of your turn, choose closer range until your next turn. When an opposing character targets Soldier Supreme with an attack, the chosen type modify their attack -1. And then he is also your leadership with a special damage power that's also when Soldier Supreme uses it and succeeds, you may also heal 1 click on all adjacent friendly characters. So this guy just doesn't see any play, but that's all really, really good. Especially, again, you're looking at 400 points. This is a great, great piece.
The cool thing about his thing too is that he's through characters at least. So you don't have to have him up at your front line in order to make that miss happen.
Right.
So you can kind of protect him a bit. You can body block a little bit, and he can still like force that miss potentially, which is I think that's like one of his strengths. Is most people like that. Yeah,
it's really good,
and it's protected pulse wave. Yeah,
and you can keep him safe just shooting behind other characters on your team too. And 11 Pensai, 3 damage, that's not terrible. He can easily pump that up a little bit. So I think at 75 points, he might be a little bit of a harder sell than 300. But again, 400, I think this is a great piece.
Yeah, then he's got defenders, and so there's defenders is going to be strong.
Yeah, defenders, Avengers, mystical, past soldier, all good.
Yeah.
Dan, you got anything?
I would like to submit the other shark, so King Shark at 80. I think I like him as a brute. I think him and Sasquatch make a good pairing, and just the ability that like of his. A lot of people play barrier, and between his super strength and destroys blocking, he can get regen for free pretty frequently. So you can, like, say, attack a mystic character, hurt it, and then heal yourself back off of like whatever damage you took from mystics. So that part I do like quite a bit. I think in 400 he's a little bit more where you could look at him to play him. 300 it's a bit harder to sell with how many points he is and just where things are right now. But I think in 400 worth a look.
Would you play him at 115 or 80?
Probably 80. 115s are really hard. Oh, I like
it's
the
only
stat.
25 more points though, and you get 3 more clicks, 12 attack, and 4 damage,
and a 19D. Yes.
So this is one I actually do think it might be worth playing if you are going to play him on top dial. I've actually played him and played him against him quite a few times. He's definitely gotten just destroyed in one turn a couple times, but I've seen him do some work and be a little harder to put down if he's on that top 19. That's really usually what saves him.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's just I guess I'm still thinking in the mindset, but yeah, in 400 the 115 might totally be worth it. 'Cause you get the extra swing too. You have 2 more speed, so I mean his stats go up quite a little bit. So
yeah, but with that though, you playing him 80 and giving him, you can get those 2 extra speed and give him super senses top dial by giving him motorcycle for 95 points. So now he's going to be 20 points less because he's actually 35 points more at top dial for 3 clicks.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's 30 more. Yeah.
So I play him with motorcycle. You get your super senses up start, and then now you get the +2 speed. So
yeah, I don't know but I like him. I'm a fan of Dark to give brutes a free move, so him being able to move up 4 and then hypersonic, or potentially more if you say perplex him up with Sasquatch. So he can go pretty far. He's got a decently large swing and Dolphin, so if you're trying to make use of that,
tell me on Dolphin. Yeah, Dolphin's amazing.
So, and he can potentially get Battle Fury because it's not just him. It's if a character has been damaged since your last turn. So, him being able to get that, if it is a bit situational, I mean, eventually someone's going to get hurt. You're never going to walk away out of a match without any of your characters taking damage. I wouldn't think.
Right.
So, he'll have Battle Fury. It's good because there's a lot of shit right now. So
yeah.
What do you got, Miles?
So I'm going to go with another legacy figure. This is going to take a spot for mystical or monster. It's going to be the Legacy Ghost Rider 2099. Now I know he's not as affordable or easy to find as most, but one of you, the 3 people, or and if you don't have this figure, then please, I mean, reach out to people, ask if they can bring it and borrow it. This figure needs to see some play. I wish I was playing the keywords, but unfortunately I'm not. He gets really good from the sideline. Most people are going to be using some primes. We've already one of the best primes to use is Absorbing Man, and he can be his pilot. And the great thing about that is he replaces the attack value with the attack value displayed on the character chosen for his pilot trait. And then if the chosen character has a standard power displayed, which he has charge and toughness to start, which isn't great, but he gets +1 to combat value. So if you go ahead and give him Absorbing Man Prime, you get a 14 attack, because I think there's the 13 precision strike with combat reflexes. So now he's going to be a 14 attack, 20 defense, doing 4 damage, 10 speed, and he ignores characters. I know he's easy to take down, sort of, but he's only 50 points. Give him the Hell Cycle to give him some hypersonic speed, and just go to town as fast as you can, because you can also bring Absorbing Man out.
So we were building with
And
this guy at the end of last year, and what was the ruling where you can still make him your pilot, you can put his tokens on the map, but then once he comes in, he's not counted as your pilot anymore? Is that what it was?
So you're not going to be able to use his powers. But for his first trait, this is the one that I'm still waiting on. Because actually, I think you can still, because let's see the way it's worded. See, okay, you turn it to any click. He can use the standard attack and damage powers displayed on that character's dial. It says revealing your force. So it's never been officially answered. I'm sure there's something in the comprehensive that I can look for. But right here it says he may replace his attack value with attack value displayed. I believe that's the only one that goes away. He should still be able to get the powers, I think. Because it doesn't say as long as he's on your sideline. You choose it when revealing forces.
Right.
So it's one of those things that I'm not quite sure about. So that's why I think the correct way for right now, since I don't know the official answer to that, is just kamikaze him. And then just bring Absorbing Man. You pretty much think of yourself as a 3-turn clock for them to get 50 points, but you're able to get your tokens up there. It's a way of benefiting from a prime, even though he's not on the map.
Yeah.
So that's what I think also helps with Absorbing Man Prime, is because you have to get those tokens in, and until then he's doing nothing. Whereas you have a figure that's benefiting because he's going to have a 14 attack doing 4 damage, an 11 speed hypersonic if you give him the Hell Cycle for 65 points. And he has Regen at the end. He can survive. And if once it gets ruled that you can't use the powers, then whatever. I still think he's worthwhile playing. But yeah, I don't want to give out the wrong information, so I don't know that official answer, because that's going to be having to get to the win. I think it's going to be a judge's discretion, because when revealing forces, people could rule it that it's only for that. So
yeah, because I remember we were talking about that, but it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now since we were really talking about it.
Yeah, I'll probably. That's actually probably a good question. I might message Aaron Morgan, since he's running the silver event, and see how he would rule that.
Yeah, that'd be good to know. Can update next episode.
Mm-hmm.
One that I think is pretty cool. It's gonna have a combo here. It's almost there. I had this team kind of built, and I was going to play it in Orlando, but I ended up changing it to Mystical, and that's Talon on an assassin team. Just like with Amit's Tomb, getting those extra victory points is a pretty big deal. So I think when you're, again, dealing with 400 points, adding the 80-point Ra's al Ghul, even though he kind of sucks hard, being able to get a new target token and combo that with Talon, where they don't get defense powers, and then what is that? It's 140 points between the two right there. So you have the rest of those 400 points to kind of build an assassin team that you're able to just pick apart pieces that you can take away their defense powers.
But even without that, right? Still giving you an extra, is it 25 points for the target trait?
Yeah. So you target whoever you want. They don't have defense powers, and then you also just get an extra 25 points. That's very strong, and you don't have to pump it up like you do Amit's Tomb.
Exactly, and you're basically getting a free porter on a kill. Good.
Right.
So I mean that can change the math quite a bit. So I think even without, I mean the trick with Raz, good. Even on her own, I still think she's very good, even if you're not trying to pull off that trick.
No, yeah, she's definitely. You're talking about Talon.
Yeah,
No, she's really good. I played with her a ton. She's really good. Just being able to just when it came down to it, if you kill the target, not being able to pick a new one and it's just kind of done, then her big trick is done. She's still good for 60 points, but having that ability to continue to pick whoever else you want to take away their defense powers is just huge.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people think he's overcosted, but I think that's exactly why he's 80 points, is the fact that he's able to give out target tokens over and over again.
Right.
So
I saw
that's a powerful effect.
Yeah, I saw a trick with Electra and the pilot, and then coming out like after, basically, and then so it's like late game basically, but then you get to place another target token.
Yeah, we were talking about that I think a week or two ago, and that was the best way that I could think of bringing him in without having to pay for him. But
yeah,
you said someone is playing that though. You've seen it?
No, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that somewhere else. It wasn't just us. Like I saw that somewhere else too, where someone was like, "Oh yeah, this could be a good idea," like a solid choice.
The only thing is then he's a 16 regen. He's probably getting tapped off the map, but it's still it's a way to get him in. As Electra is way better than he
But
is.
that's interesting too. Is then that would make the Prime Rouse al Ghul. You throw that on the sideline for that triple combo.
No, you're always gonna have Talon.
Prime
Rouse al Ghul is the worst piece to ever be made. It came in the same set as Talon.
Yeah. No, Talon's too good. Yeah.
So I think Assassins definitely is a great team to think for the 3v3.
And I actually really like her. I actually really like Talon with I'm gonna go back to it, but Allegra. So
yeah,
her being able to switch on people to make them Thunderbolts could be kind of disgusting.
Yeah, you can strengthen a team like that, but at the same time, you only get the bonuses for people with assassin keyword, so you're not scoring those extra 25 points, and they would still have, I think, defense powers too, right? It has to be an assassin attacking them.
Yes, I'm just thinking of like good assassins as of right now. So you have Orb, Talon obviously is good by herself.
Now, one of the tricks I was running was the Deathstroke from Batman Team Up and adding, what was it, Death Metal Wonder Woman and World's Finest and giving them the assassin keyword. So that was my assassin team earlier, and it was working pretty well.
Yeah.
So right there, you're talking about assassin. So Deathstroke and works with Val too, to where now you get World's Finest with assassin, and he's also going to have Thunderbolts.
Yep.
So you're going to give him more team abilities. That's really huge right there.
So I think that's a keyword worth looking at with those people in the combos. Again, 400 points opens it up a little bit more, and then when you're thinking Highlander, you got to be a little creative.
And there's always Red Widow. I know she's not like see a lot.
She's S tier in Pulp. I think she's
great.
Really good. And
yeah. So
yeah, having her go up against somebody with no defense, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dan, do you got another guy?
One of my last ones is actually King Arthur. I think a little slept on. I know I've heard people talk about him because he is just a stat monster with if he equips a sword. Yeah. And his leadership is basically board wide as long as you have the pass keyword. And there's enough of that floating around. And then his stop pulse wave is really good. He does KO, but if you're on that, probably gonna die anyway. So you might as well use it and try to take as much out with, because it's a 3 damage pulse wave.
So I was actually looking at him, and there is a way around that, him dying. Death Metal Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I thought was her.
So you actually you do your 3 damage, and then after resolutions you KO him, except you don't. You then heal potentially up to click 5. which is not bad. Not bad at all.
No.
I mean, it's a 10 attack, sure, but there's ways to bump it up for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I do like him.
I mean, he's already +1 if he's got a sword on.
Yeah.
An
For
11
fun.
attack with Pulse Wave and you're hitting printed. That's not bad either.
No. So, 80 points, I think he's one of those where you were talking about. I would play him at 80. Because you are going to equip him with a sword because you get it for free. And then he's going to be a 9-13, 9-4.
You can put Cathan on him if you're the team that gets to play it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think he's quite good. I don't own him. Hopefully I can get one, but yeah, I definitely thought I was like, yeah, this could work.
Hopefully they trickle out a little bit more at this event though in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Battle Royals get some pricing, man. I'd like to see him more readily available. And that's the thing about King Arthur is that not a lot of people are going to have him in time for ROC Cup.
Right. Hopefully they have a way to get him out a little bit more.
For sure, yeah. Something they need to do with like figures like Batman and Jaro.
Did you get yours ever? Your Batman Jaro?
I have not. No, the guy that I was going to get it from pulled out, and I'm not going to pay the $90 people are asking on eBay for it. So it's
gee.
Yeah. That was a figure that was actually next on my list. Is the Batman Jaro? I think that he is completely being slept on, and he's not on my list. So I'm slowly going up to try and find him.
Well, what do you like about Batman and Jaro?
Well, Batman Jaro shuts down Safeguard Outwit, which is huge. You're gonna go against figures like Barn Surfer. I'm trying to find him. I don't know why I can't find him. What whiz kids? There he is. So he's 75 points, so it's a little iffy, but I still extremely like him. All of his keywords: Batman family, obviously, martial artist, detective. Detective is extremely good, especially at 400 points, and I think he is really good with detective, especially with the new Sherlock. But with him, if he occupies printed hindering terrain, he has free make close attack. I wish that was just hindering terrain, but I understand why. But his outwit, where you just choose an opposing character within range and line of fire, and and until your next turn, that character can't use safeguard outwit or protected outwit. Like that's huge. Sorry, Kong, you don't get stomp. Sorry, Surfer, you don't get shape changer, senses or whatever you want. And the bystander he makes isn't bad at all either. He has probability control if Jaro isn't on the map, but most of the time you're going to want Jaro. He has sidestep and mind control with a range value of 8. He also has outwit, and he's autonomous. So, with 11 attack precision.
I've played against him a few times. He definitely plays way better than what his point value and stats look.
I think he's like Hawkeye and Hawkeye. The only problem is that he was not as readily available as Hawkeye and Hawkeye, so he's never seen play. I think Batman and Jaro is criminally underrated. He's
not as
not
aggressive
in a lot
as
of people.
Hawkeye and Hawkeye, but yeah, he's got utility.
No, yeah. He plays completely different. I think Hawkeye and Hawkeye is better, but I think that he's also completely underplayed. I like him. I mean, the Batman family, you're going to go ahead and you can put the utility belt on him.
Right.
The printed hindering terrain does hurt a little bit, but being able to get rid of safeguard outwit and protected outwit, I think is huge. And he has a bystander you move him up 9. If you put him in printed hindering terrain, he makes a close attack. Then he can generate a Pog with 11 attack, mind control with a range of 8, and he has outwit. So you generate him with precision strike 11, like he's going to hit no matter what.
Right.
With that 11 attack. And he's autonomous, so yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't look like much for 70 points, but I've played against him a few times. He definitely does hold a lot more value than it looks like he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, this one here is Steel from the Superman Iconics. This guy is pretty solid, actually, and this is definitely a piece that I would consider playing at 85 points. He's got a trait which is for all characters with this trait. When an equipped opposing character is KO'd, score 10 victory points. And when Steel uses close range destroy actions, opposing terrain markers can't use indestructible. So you don't have to even destroy the equipment. It's just if you KO a piece that is equipped, you score 10 extra victory points. And a lot of pieces I think are still going to be equipped. And then he's got another trait, which is Steel can reduce penetrating damage, which is great for his Impervious, which is his top dial at 85 points. And then when Steel succeeds on a D6 roll, if a friendly character with the Superman team ability has been KO'd this game, after resolutions heal him 1 click. So if you can try to plan on throwing a low-costed piece out in the front and giving him that ability, maybe finding a way to give him shape change or something, that's pretty solid there. And then his special attack power that he has at the end of his dial, and then the top, if you play him at 85, is when Steel hits, after resolutions, hit opposing characters gain immobile until your next turn, which, again, is great for Blackheart if he's trying to kick someone out there, or any other big piece that would fly at you.
Yeah, I've actually been trying to figure out a way to work with him, especially because he has Scientist.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's just so many other scientists that I want to play because his play style's different than what a lot of scientists are. You have to go in on it.
Right.
He's extremely good. But the Metropolis, Armor, the Justice League, you want to get a cheap someone with Superman and Superman ally. There's a bunch, I guess the same from the same set that Superman for 35 points, Fulcrum Abominus. You just send him full map for that retail, let him die.
Yeah, I like
then
that.
he benefits from that. Yes, Steel is, and I think you're right. I think 85 points is where you play him. But getting that special attack power, I think, is huge.
Right. And he's a 12
You're
for
your leadership.
12 for 4 at the very least with the close combat expert. So
yeah. Then you give him shape change. You can give him that, or you give him the motorcycle, give him senses. Yeah, there's so much you can do for him to heal.
Yeah.
And reducing penetrating damage is huge.
And then he does get leadership later on. So if you succeed on a leadership roll, if he's taking damage, then you get to heal 1 click too. So there's other stuff he can do.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you got?
My last one that I came up with was the Scarlet Scarab Rare at 60. So I think she's underrated. I still think that Running Shot Pulse Wave with Prob and Cosmic Energy into 6, and she has a stop click that's invincible. Super Senses, a hypersonic precision RCE. So she's ending on 6'11", 18-3. So I think she's really underrated for 60 points. Yeah, she's only 4 clicks deep, but she's hard to kill. So, and her being able to have a avatar is good too. So, and she's got traded ESD on top of it all. So trying to shoot at her because she's at 18 her whole dial, is relatively that can be hard to do. So, because not everyone's going to have a porter, especially in this event because it's Highlander. So you're not going to have the automatic +1 attack. So.
I think this is a piece that you see more of after rotation. I think she's pretty good though.
In this format, though, for sure, I think she can see some play.
Yeah.
She's got great keywords. Scientist, mystical. Mystical is just, that's the whole problem, is that there's so many sleeper figures for mystical, and there's just, it's.
Oh, see, I like her for warrior, actually.
Crazy.
That's because there's not many warriors that are so having that variable like damage output is good.
Oh yeah, warrior. Team up with your brutes. Yeah. My next figure is I'm seriously surprised that you didn't have her on your list number 1. I'm sure Ryan's going to agree. She's better, I think, in modern, but Titanium. This figure brings so much to teams, even at 400 points. Everyone says, "Oh, she's 75 points. That's just too many points." Well, what she's bringing to your team is that she's her, and if you can get her and White Shirt Porter, your team now has +2 attack. Like that's not to be that you don't want to sleep on that. The brute keyword gets her APOC and Genesis, and playing them at 40 is optimal. And normally people don't care about them because they have 10 attacks. Well, now they have 12 attacks. If for some reason someone's playing against you is playing a porter or a Kong, well, they have copyright claim tokens, so they can't use any of the powers that are on their dial. And I think if you're able to get a figure, like if you're able to get some MOE swap on there too, and if not even just swap, just Dark Phoenix, you can you can TK her and then move her full, and then you can do a free attack with Dark Phoenix, giving opposing characters that she hits a copyright claim. And she only takes a maximum of 1 damage from characters with copyright claim tokens. So if you can go in there and potentially, hit someone there's a few objects. I mean, throw trick arrows on her so that way after she hits something, you drop the big arrow and you quake everything. So now all those figures have copyright claim tokens, and all those figures only do 1 damage to her when they attack her. She's extremely good, extremely underrated.
I think she's almost like an autoplay in Modern with all the people playing Kong and the White Shirt Porter.
She is too.
She's so close. I do like her with Apocalypse and Genesis, though, and I think you put a sword on her to give her that Apocalypse rollout.
Yeah.
But I think
that is true, yeah, with that.
But
people say the problem is that she can't give that copyright claim token. And I think they're playing her wrong. I think you do want to get in somebody's face with the Dark Phoenix just so you can get that shape change and the APOC rollout.
Right.
Like, she does have some survivability. People are just not thinking for her as aggressive piece because she's 75 points.
And you can kind of feel out the team too. If their main offense is Kong and White Shirt Porter and they're completely nerfed, she's only taking 1 damage. So if they're going to focus on her, then you can pick apart the rest of their team with your other pieces. So I think she's honestly in 300 almost like an autoplay. She is very, very good though.
Well, and then with the 400 points too, tons of people are probably going to be playing Kong at 200 points. If you're playing Titania against the Kong at 200 points, he just lost a ton of value.
Right.
Sure, if he gets 2 attacks, but
he's not using his Quake, so
he can't use his Quake. So that means he has to target her first to get rid of that copyright claim token.
But then what else does he lose? He loses Quake. He loses Super Strength. He loses the Impervious
willpower.
Regen on his stop click. The willpower. That's huge.
Yep.
Yeah. So he does hit her, but that means that he has to get close to hit her, which means by your next turn, you can hit him with Titania again. Because Impervious doesn't stop you from being hit. Impervious just drops the damage to 0. So he's still getting that token on her.
Right.
Yeah.
From her.
So then he still just goes back to not being able to use powers, which is really good.
Yeah, sure, he can't. He can use willpower twice, sure. Except he doesn't have access to willpower.
Right.
So she is extremely underrated and being slept on. I don't know why people are. I guess it's because she's 75 points, but that +1 attack is huge with her and Porter.
Yeah, that bonus.
You're giving 2 attacks to your entire team.
That bonus makes it a lot more of an easier sell to me.
And that's why I like her at 75 points, because its friendly characters are less points. It's not equal or less. So if she was 50 points,
her with anybody else more than that
would be good.
Yeah, well, she nerfs a lot of people. Like, she nerfs Wong, nerfs Marvel, nerfs. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like the big notable ones off the top of my head.
So if someone can somehow get Steve to work, all those powers he gives out, he can't use them.
Yeah.
Only a celebrity keyword. Yeah, there's a lot of Spider-Mans with celebrity that have traded super senses. They can't use it.
Yeah. That nerfs Deathstroke hilariously. Like, he can't use Pulse Wave.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, yeah, there's she's criminally underrated. One of us might be playing her, one of us might not. We shall see. But she will be making an appearance at Huntsville. I can guarantee it for sure. If someone's running her.
Yeah, I'd like to see her kind of make a name for herself there. She's got potential.
If I was going, I would probably play. I would try to something get her out there.
I'd make you run her for sure.
But I'd be like, that's fine. I'll run that. That's totally okay
Yeah,
with me.
like I don't care what you play. I want Porter and Titania. Yeah, because Porter, Titania, and then APOC and Genesis, I think is that, and that's another good thing about her for the 3v3 is that if you can say I want Apocalypse and Genesis, no one's going to take Titania, and so Titania just makes those two so much better
Yep.
Oh well,
because she also
even
gives
without
a plus one.
even without a porter, still them just being
That's
an
what I
11
mean. Yeah,
attack is just you're like, oh, all right, that's a
so
lot
she's
scarier.
benefiting them that with that plus one attack. So it's almost like you have Porter, but you don't, but you still do. With that.
Well, because not a lot of people are 75 points or greater. I mean, you
Yeah,
even look at
exactly.
Kong or Carnage Silver Surfer, they're both 50. So she's
No,
like,
that's why I like her at 75 points, is because there's a reason you play her at 75 is because your entire team's benefiting from her, and you have 325 points to build around.
Yeah.
So there is a way to make her nasty. And if I'm not playing her, even if I am playing her, I would hate to play against her because she's a tough piece to crack for sure.
Yeah, she can nerf a whole team.
Yeah.
All right, this one just came out. I got to play this one in sealed, and it's another piece that it's a little bit high with 75 points. It's Jack and Elsa. So animal, monster, mystical warrior, plenty of good keywords to play. They have a trait which is Jack and Elsa and adjacent friendly characters have. If this character has been damaged this turn, they take a maximum of 1 damage from attacks. So this ended up being sneaky good, being able to mastermind to characters. So instead of taking 4 or 5 damage, just masterminding it to one of those characters, and they only take 1 now, came in pretty clutch. And then they got a special speed power on their top dial, which is Charge Flurry. When Jack and Elsa uses it, when he uses Flurry, one of the attacks may be a range attack. So you can actually charge and Flurry and then just use that as a running shot as your first attack even. And then they have a special defense power, which is combat reflexes, super senses, and toughness. And then they have improved movement characters, and then improved targeting adjacent to characters. So 12 attack, outwit. It is 75 points, but if you build your team around being able to really take advantage of what it offers, I think this is a piece that could make a team.
This is a piece that I'm like always conflicted of that I like want to really build with, but it's feels super risky in 300 modern right now. So this is a piece that I'll be keeping my eye on post rotation. As like, this might be really good now.
Yeah, post rotation, and again the 400 versus 300 I think opens it up too.
Yeah, that was I was always looking at it through the 300 point lens, and I was like, oh, that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
If they had stealth, I think that they had a better chance, but they don't.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, they do not.
Dan, do you have anyone else? You said that was all you had.
Let's see, on a second. So, piece that I really like, that I actually really like, that I think not a lot of people do play, is actually the rare hit for 30 points. 30 points of charge, leave, climb, blades, and double rollouts. So, and you get like when they do die, which is actually kind of hard. They're 5 clicks deep for 30 points. They drop you an equipment for free, and it's within 4 squares of wherever they occupied. So you're not necessarily giving up that 10 points of the black symbiote. So I think that's interesting.
They also, if there's a friendly character, you equip that friendly character.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is huge.
Yeah, they can be pretty annoying if you tie a piece if you are hitting your rollouts.
Yeah, and it starts off with 2 damage, but they have blades, and then the rest of their dial is steel energy. So I don't know. I think this is actually like quite good for 30 points. Do a decent amount of damage, and is like very annoying to deal with.
Yeah, if you have 30 points left, again, Highlander, not a bad idea. What do you got, Miles?
So this is a piece that I am a huge fan of, and I was high on this figure when he was first released. He hasn't really seen a lot of play. I think Actually, I'm surprised. I know PJ is the only one that I know of that's actually played him. I know he's online. But Lex Luthor Notorious is 001. Friendly characters that are adjacent or share a keyword with Lex Luthor have Superman enemy, so you can give your entire team outwit. There's a lot of things in the meta that have protected outwit, so I think that's another thing that really hurts him. But when you're talking this kind of format, and you got stretch pieces, I think you can actually benefit from it. Plus, he's a ring bearer, so and no one's gonna choose the Orange Lantern ring. Like, let's be honest. So you're always gonna get it when you choose this figure. He's got armor, herald, and scientist. I think three strong keywords that absolutely can be built around and be highly competitive with all three of those keywords. He generates the constructs, so now he gets outwit. He has a 6 range. He's your leadership, especially for Herald. That's really good. Armor, I think he teams up very good with figures like Legacy APOC, because why wouldn't he need outwit? So just go ahead and give him an 8 range outwit.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's
I think
he's found his I think the most luck by just giving teams outwit and just kind of outwitting your opponent into the ground.
Yeah, it's just there's just so much protected and safeguard outwit right now that it just really hurts. And yeah, but I think this kind of format actually helps him because of so many figures that are susceptible.
Yeah.
And he gets the orange ring, right? Is what you said.
Yeah, yeah, and then that's like the cheapest ring right now, and I actually like that ring, and I always forget that whenever I play him, I always roll breakaway, and if I I always forget it gives him plasticity. Always forget. And the orange ring actually is not too bad too, because another thing that I always forget is that when you hit an equipped character, you can just take their equipment.
Yeah, instead of the orange ring.
That's if they already have plasticity. So Lex Luthor obviously can't benefit from that because he doesn't have plasticity, but which sucks. But yeah, he still grants some plasticity.
Right.
And like I said, free constructs. So like there's actually uses now for a majority of those crappy constructs, giving your team outwit. Like you can just generate like the spotlight that you're never gonna see.
Yeah.
And give your entire team outwit. And the good thing is that this also includes pogs, because when you are you consider is that what it is? No. Taking care of lower points, never mind. So you can't give pogs it. But you can go ahead and grant that. And so what this does is it allows those figures to use outwit until your next turn. So you don't need to use outwit then. You can take that free action and then go into wherever you want to go. And then you can use outwit. Which I know a lot of people don't play the Superman enemy team ability, so it throws them off. They think that you have to be adjacent for you to use it. And the only thing that power grants you is the ability to use outwit. It doesn't mean you have to be next to that character to get outwit.
Right. Important to
So
know.
That's because it used to work that way, where you had to stay recent. Now it doesn't anymore.
Yeah, because now it just says, yeah, you just take that free action, and it just gives you outwit until your next turn, which is huge. So, like at the beginning of your turn, you just take that free action. Even if you're not going to use outwit, it's just you want to get in that habit, and then you can just go where you want to go. So yeah, I mean, giving your entire outwit is huge. He's only 50 points, and I think he brings a lot to the team. And I think he's probably the best 001 we've got in years, if not ever.
Yeah, you don't see a whole lot of commons seeing competitive play, but I think this is definitely one that'll pop up from here to there.
I think the only one that's moderately close, but it's because he's the pilot, is the 001 Ghost Rider. That's the only other one I got right now.
Yeah, he's a good pilot, but
Yeah, he sees more play, as a pilot. But yeah,
I was trying to make a different distinction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you're right there. Yeah, but it's really weird to see a 001 on any build sheet for anything. So, yeah, doesn't matter what he's being used for.
All right, this piece is 70 points. Does a lot. I'm surprised that nobody has tried to make her work yet, but it's a Spirit Rider, chase from Wheels of Vengeance. Has the Spirit of Vengeance trait, which is when Spirit Rider attacks an opposing character that took damage from Mystics since your last turn, she deals penetrating damage. If the friendly character that dealt damage from Mystics also had this trait, Spirit Rider increases damage dealt by +1 during that attack. She's got a special attack power on her top dial, which is Energy Explosion, Precision Strike, and Pulse Wave. And when Spirit Rider uses Energy Explosion or Pulse Wave and targets one or more characters that damaged friendly characters since your last turn, increase the damage dealt to hit characters by 1. And then a special attack or damage power, which is probability control and shape change. And when Spirit Rider uses probability control to target a friendly character, and the final result is a miss, after resolutions, remove an action token from that character. So pretty good attacker, only 70 points. Mystic's team ability and animal, monster, mystical, and past keywords. So it's kind of a piece to be afraid of, honestly. Blackheart can bring her up. Have you guys had to play against her?
No, I think that was my reason not building with her, was because I didn't want to have to go into Blackheart. Like, I really like Blackheart, but the pigeonholing of the build is what I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
But no, I thought she was good right off the get go. I was like, Pulse Wave with prob and double rollouts, like, sign me up.
And then Precision Strike with Pulse Wave, Precision Strike with Energy Explosion, and the potential to do a 3 damage Energy Explosion or 2 damage Pulse Wave. Pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Well, and she actually has probably the best Pulse Wave right now. She actually gets around that super rare Ghost Rider with her Pulse Wave because it's Precision Strike.
Yep.
And that's one thing that is huge. That Precision Strike Pulse Wave is no joke.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have
so
not
it doesn't
seen
matter.
her
Oh, they
on-
still have powers? Whatever. We got Precision Strike, so
I haven't seen her on one
So, yeah.
team, but yeah, 400 points, and she's 70, and she does a ton of stuff.
yeah.
Dan, did you grab another one? It's okay if you didn't. We can move to Miles. Me.
No, that's fine. We can go to Miles. Yeah, there was like,
Yeah, this figure I think is honestly the best, one of the best figures in next phase is the Pizza Box Kate Bishop. Extremely good. She's got that trait once per turn. When she's carried after resolution, she may make a range attack as if she occupied any square the character carrying her moved through. That's extremely good. And she's only 50 points. She's got the Young Avengers keyword, which I think Young Avengers actually can see some play. I doubt anyone's going to play it because I think the only people that have ever really played is me and Paul Cote. I'm not sure if Paul's going to be there. But her spy, you can go ahead and give her Thunderbolts. And she's bringing you the Avengers Initiative team. And she also sees through characters and when she's adjacent. So that's stealth, 12 attack, 3 damage. And she can, that's late dial. She can choose 2 between knockback, energy explosion, or range combat expert. For 50 points, she does a ton. You can just carry her and she makes the attack from any square. So it's so easy to get her to attack, especially with 12. And she brings a lot to the team with that. And she has the marksman. Give her the trick arrows. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Yeah, still 50 points. It's great.
That's what's going to be hard is who gets the trick arrows. That's because they work for everything.
yeah, that's gonna be tough.
And if you play Kate Bishop, you never play her team up card because you lose your attack. So
I think
Your
you
attack
still, if you still bring it because it's free to just have with you in your pocket. And if there's a team that has just a ton of shape change, that's what it does, right? They can't use shape change or basically super senses either to evade the attack. So if you're going against a,
it's only when she attacks. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, you have to have Lucky on your team. And Lucky not having the good keywords
that's
with her
true, yeah.
really hurts because what Lucky has, I think,
And he's going to be on your starting
marksman,
force,
martial
too.
artist. Yeah, marksman and animal and martial artist. So he doesn't have any of the keywords I think that you're going to be playing her with. Sadly. Because there's just, you're.
How do you get this bystander? The lucky bystander for 15 points?
Is there a lucky bystander? Oh, I didn't realize there was a lucky bystander.
It might
okay,
be,
so you play him for.
It's 15 points in prob. It's not terrible, but you could put that on the team if you're trying.
That is a good point. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, that is a good point here. So I guess there could be some ways just because you can't be evaded or use shape change. So
what's it from?
I
don't know what it's from. Is it a pizza box
from
or
the pizza
OP?
box?
Or is it an OP piece?
I believe it's from the pizza box.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, the bystanders came with the boxes, so I think.
Yeah, but there's also bystanders in the chase boosters. Trying to see which ones. Yeah, because they don't really stay. I forgot which because they don't have numbers on them. That's what's hard to see which one's which. But I think it comes with the Kate Bishop pizza box. I have the pizza box in my truck. I just haven't opened it, so.
Well, it's at least a thing that is available, so just don't know how to get it.
Yeah.
But it's basically 15-point prob, and then you get a chance to use the team-up card if it's needed. So maybe it's a choice you make on a 400-point team.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally spaced the Pog. That's why I was completely saying you never play it. Because you're not, yeah.
Next,
but it's the same damage power. Yeah, and she starts with the pizza object for what that's worth, so she can heal.
Next is the Hydro Man from the Beyond Amazing starter set. So he's got a really cool power, which is phasing teleport. And when Hydro Man uses it, after resolutions, he may place any number of non-debris terrain markers he moved through into squares adjacent to him. He's got Sinister Syndicate, which probably is not going to be a big deal, but he does have the Brute keyword. And then he's got a TK and shape change on his top click, so he can do a little bit with that TK, but being able to completely rearrange your opponent's barriers is a pretty slick move. So he's only 40 points, and he does have the Dolphin keyword, so if you can fit him on a Brute team, that's not actually a bad little trick to have in your pocket. Not many people know about him.
And if you're going Brute and someone's got Scott, sometimes you need TK. That's not a bad call at all. Even if you have to play him at 30, if you have his 30-point one for Brute giving TK. But 40 is definitely ideal because, I've played him at 40, and he is tons of fun.
Yeah.
You're not making attacks with him. You're either TKing or you're just going to go and rearrange everything.
Right, which you can trap somebody, or you can make them just inconvenience them, or get it out of the way for your rest of the team to go in.
Yeah, it actually helps you too. So you can make barrier and then have him move. So, like, if you make barrier close to your team, like let's say for instance you have someone that only has a 4 range, but you want the barrier to be further away, you can actually have him go and move through those barriers and then place them next to him.
Yeah.
Wherever you want. So I know it's taking up an action, but you have another action. Usually you're going to have 5 actions. It's definitely an option. People think it's throwing away an action. I think it's totally fine being able to use a figure to manipulate even your own barriers to protect you better. Because a lot of barrier figures only have like 4 to 6 range, and maybe you want to, like, for instance, throw it even further. And you just don't want to use the TK because you don't want to put that figure into harm's way. He has at least a rollout. Brute, you might be playing with APOC and Genesis, so he might have 2 rollouts, so it's even better. You can just have him throw up right next to somebody and throw all the barriers around him and that figure.
Yeah, I think he's a cool piece to do. And
a great choice.
Either Brute, or you can put him on APOC and Genesis too, so easy to theme that way.
Yeah, that's for. I'm going to go with the starter figure. Unless, Dan, do you have a figure?
I actually still think I don't know if there's a lot of play yet. I've only seen it played once, but Prime Lilith I think could be with the amount of like extra points you have, like extra 100 points, and the amount of utility she has, I think that she could see some play there. But it remains to be seen. I haven't seen the right amount of pieces with her yet.
When you have to split the primes, I think she definitely has a chance. And
It's also trying to figure out what she's best to do, and I mean that could be good bringing in a monster. I mean, because who's chances of Necron being played really isn't good, so that could help you. I mean, bringing in Necron when you have is not too bad because you're only giving up 40 points. I think that's where people need to look at her as you bring cheap figures in, Colossal Carnage, a Necron.
Even a regular werewolf could be disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah, I mean, it allows certain stuff for sure. I do like that.
Miles, you had a starter figure, you said?
Yeah, I got a starter figure. He's not going to see play besides me or Austin. Maybe starter set Fred at 25 points. Okay, you're playing the A dial. I think he's the only A dial that's actually going to be looked at for this format. He's got Celebrity, Detective, Mr. Inc. I don't think you're going to go Mr. Inc., but I mean, he does have Celebrity and he does have Detective. He's 25 points. He's Flurry, 8, 11, 18, 3. It's like, man, sure would like to give him a moving attack. Well, make him 40 points now. Now he's got Charge, Flurry, hitting 10 speed. So he's got a 6 movement charge, hitting for 11-3 with Flurry. And he's a leadership piece. He also has a rollout now with Senses, and he now has invulnerability. I don't think you play him without the motorcycle. I think motorcycle actually makes him playable in any format. He's not going to be ideal, but he's definitely a fun piece, and he brings the damage. When you're talking a 40-point piece that can potentially hit for 6, I think that's a win.
I like it. Sticking with the starter sets, the Mysterio from the Beyond Amazing set. So he is a special attack power, which is Smoke Cloud is free. When an opposing character occupying one of Mysterio's smoke terrain markers misses all targets of an attack, after resolutions, deal the attacker 1 unavoidable damage. That's a pretty powerful threat to kind of put in front of your team if someone's coming in with somebody. I've definitely played this guy a few times and had a lot of success with him. He's got Celebrity keyword also, which is great. And then if you are playing like the Iron Spider, he already has the Sinister Syndicate team ability as well. Have you had to play against this guy?
I was actually about to go to Mysterio. And I'm like,
He's
what,
awesome.
I know wrong. He's amazing. He is amazing. The Beyond Amazing is starter set has a few figures. One of them that has seen tons of play, so I didn't put her on my list.
I only got a couple more left. How many do you have?
I have 2 left.
All right. Do you want to go?
Yeah. This figure is 100% a meme figure. Not saying playing it is a meme, but the figure himself was a meme. And that's Play at Home's Shaggy. 300 points. People I know have been trying to get him to play. I think at 400 points, you play him at 100 points, and you're going to see value with him at 100 points for Cosmic, Mystical, or Detective. He brings so much. The Seal Energy, and if he KOs 2 or more characters with a single attack, after resolutions, you heal him 3 clicks. He has 3 targets. I guess you could play him at 150. I wouldn't recommend that. I like him at 100 because he's always going to be able to heal to that top dial, and you're able to save points. Him on Cosmic is extremely fun. I mean, you're talking about hypersonic, 12 attack, 18 defense, invincible, and 4 damage with close combat expert. Bumping it to 4. Extremely good. And he has a power cosmic team ability. That's sad.
Another piece,
I would hate to face him.
Another piece that I think, again, at 400 points, it's really easy to get them out. And everyone kind of just says now, for 70 points, that Zod Ursa non-Ultra Chase isn't really playable because you have to kind of dedicate so much to getting them out. But 400 points, if you have Amit's Tomb already and you're trying to do that, I think this is a great piece. For 2 stop clicks and 9 clicks of health, that does just a ton of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, he's. I think they're.
It's just
I
a beat
really
stick.
wish
So.
that. Yeah, I wish the Ultra Chase was like a sideline active because like that's the one thing that sucks. You're having the option. Because having to destroy, I think sucks. But then again, I think it works in a ton of things because you destroy objects real quick, and your opponent does as well. So you can get him on the map. There's ways to get him on the map, even turn one. It just sucks that he goes off the map, so you can't even equip him to try and make him better because he drops those equipment.
Right.
No, but what keywords do they have? I guess is what I'm thinking.
Brute, ruler, and soldier are the big
Oh,
ones.
well, you can do ruler with Jimmy, so you can keep him on the map, and then once they pop back over, that you can throw whatever you want on them.
Kong's got ruler.
Yeah,
APOC Genesis. There's plenty of good stuff that has ruler.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, ruler is ruler rules. Yeah, that's my last figure is actually ruler. I wanted to play him. I'm still waiting because I think I'm overthinking the teams that I'm building with him. But it's the Aquaman from Batman Team Up, of course.
There he is.
That's yeah.
Hey, I played him in Orlando. He was actually not. He was quite good actually. Like it was a little situational, but he was quite good.
Oh, he's extremely good. Yeah, I do not ever play him without the Blue Lantern ring because I think that's when you get the most out of him because he has the empower from all the way across the map if they're in water. So why not give them the 10 extra points? That way they not only bump their damage, but they bump up their attack. Yeah, he is amazing. Now I know you can play him without the ruler team up card, but I think that's what makes him great. Is the ruler keyword you can give? There's so many figures with ruler, and the only thing that sucks is that he may treat friendly characters with dolphin occupying water terrains adjacent, so like they have to be standard. I know people like trying to do Kong and trying to do all this fun stuff, but there's a right way and there's a wrong way to play this Aquaman.
Oh, was it only standard characters?
It's just standard friendly characters, yeah. But it said it's so you it's shared keyword with him.
And the what is it the extended bases don't count as standard either, right? Though
those are standard. Yes, they're standard.
Oh well,
yes.
I mean,
so the difference for standard is it's going to be pretty much the damage symbol. Okay. That's why 1x2s can be equipped because they're standard.
That makes sense. Oh, so yeah. I mean, Ghost Rider loves it. Like, hey, great.
Yeah, actually. No, yeah, that's why I said there's a right way and there's a wrong way. A lot of people play this and try to play it defensive. You can't be defensive. You have to be aggressive with it. Dolphin is within 4, but it's such a small maps are so small now that it just you need to be aggressive. If you want to play the defensive part, you still want to play an aggressive defense. Use Death Metal Wonder Woman. That way you can just send somebody out there. Blackheart's another great way to send figures out with ruler. There's Aquaman deserves some respect. And of course, I'm talking about 50 points. You never play him at 100. Ever.
No, but he's still not bad at 50. He gets strength.
No, you play him at 50. You never play him at 100. Because that super strength is what you want. I'd rather have the 810, 18-3 with super strength and still have 50 more points, even in 400 points to build with ruler.
Oh, yeah.
Because you still get Kong on your team. He may not have Dolphin, but you still get Kong.
And you're still giving him the +1 attack and empower and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. And then there's what you
no, I think it's only next to him.
No, he just gets the plus damage because he doesn't have Dolphin. You have to have Dolphin to get him the +1 attack.
Oh, I thought they just had to be in water. He's got to be Dolphin also.
No. Yeah. He'll get the +1 attack from the ring if he's next to Aquaman. If he's not next to him, he won't get any of the buffs because he's not Dolphin.
Yeah.
But if he's next to him, he'll still get the +1 attack and damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Aquaman's is friendly. He treats friendly characters with dolphin occupying water terrain as adjacent when he uses Empower.
Oh, okay.
So they have to have that.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's why you play him with the team up card, because you're able to give all those figures all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolphin I think is highly slept on. I've been a fan of Dolphin even before all this change. I've just always been an Aquaman fan. This is easily the best Aquaman we've ever got.
Definitely.
He gets the short end of the stick that people don't respect him, and it's about time people start doing that. Maybe I just need to actually go all in serious. I mean, our partner for the 3v3, Nick Ballou, he didn't know what to play last year for ROC Cup, and I built him an Aquaman team with using Prime Gladiator, and everyone shit on it, and then he made top 8. So there's definitely still untapped potential with this figure, because that wasn't even an optimized build. There's still stuff to be made before he rotates.
I was gonna say you're on borrowed time with him then, so you might want to make that team soon.
I know, not really on borrowed time. He'll just rotate, and then I'll just have to go all in on silver, and then
All right.
that's what I'm gonna do.
Another piece that I've had some pretty good luck with is the Iconics Bane. So he's got a trait which is Bane begins the game on click 7. Free, roll a d6 and heal Bane equal to the result. If the result was 3 through 6, give Bane an overdose token. Bane may heal past his starting line this way. At the end of your turn, deal Bane 1 unavoidable damage for each overdose token he has. And then he's got another trait, which is combat reflexes and willpower. When Bane KOs an opposing character or succeeds on a willpower roll, remove an overdose token from him. He does have the brute keyword, so he pairs really well with that Dark Phoenix. Getting him up there, you can get him to top dial really quick, because when you roll that when you roll the d6, you heal him equal to the result, not half the result. So you can get him up there pretty quick. He's swinging up close, a 14 for 5 at the very least. And then you can easily move a Dark Phoenix and get him to attack again. So he's hitting super hard in your face. He's a 19 up top. So with combat reflexes, 21. I've played this guy quite a few times, and he definitely does some work.
I've played against him. I haven't played him, but the fact that he is able to remove those overdose tokens if you KO a figure or succeed a willpower roll is huge. So yeah, if you're able to heal him past that starting line, you send him out there and KO something, he doesn't have an overdose token. He doesn't take that unavoidable.
Yeah.
That's extremely good.
Yeah, he hits really hard, and I do like the trick with the Dark Phoenix also.
Yeah.
And then Miles, are you done?
I can always find other figures to call out, and
I'm gonna go over one more piece that I have, and then if you find another one at the end you want to add, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
Last one is from the Batman Iconics, the Azrael. He doesn't look like much for 65 points, but he is super annoying and is not bad at all. He does have the Batman ally team ability for the stealth, and then also Batman enemy. He's got traded sidestep, and opposing characters with the highest point value on their force can't draw lines of fire to Azrael. If multiple opposing characters are tied for the highest point value, none of them can draw a line of fire to him. And then he's got another trait, which is willpower. And when Azrael uses it and succeeds, choose 1 to last until he chooses again. Damage he deals can't be reduced below 1. And or when he attacks after resolutions, heal him 1 click for each hit character. The thing that's cool that pairs with that, though, is his special attack power, which is Smoke Cloud. Smoke Cloud is free, but only to generate 2 markers. And then at the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to each opposing character occupying a terrain marker generated by Azrael. So very cool to be able to make someone not be able to reduce that below 1 and just kind of ping a bunch of people. Just another piece that can definitely be super annoying, hide him in stealth. You can give him a motorcycle for a charge or a hypersonic or something like that if you want. But he's definitely a piece that you can kind of just have moving around the outside a little bit and pinging people while other characters do work. He has mystical also. It's an option for assassin, and then armor, which is coming up a little bit more too. So, have you guys had any contact with this guy at all, or no?
No.
I have not as of yet. No.
I've been pretty annoying with him. He's pretty fun. Do you have another guy, Miles?
Yes, actually I do, and it was a piece that I slept on because like it was when WizKids was they were just showing all these new OP figures, and I think this figure completely went under the radar for the OP kits because they announced and revealed I think 3 OP kits at once, but it's a Spider-Man OP figure for 55 points. He's got Avengers, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, X-Men reporter and scientist. And the reason why you want to play him is he has friendly characters that are less points and share a keyword with Spider-Man, have Spider ally.
Okay.
It's 55 points. You throw him on X-Men. Guess who also has X-Men? Cosmic Surfer. A Pocket Genesis roll or now get 4 through 6 senses protected pulse wave on their stop clicks. At 55 points, he has hypersonic speed with an 11 attack, 18 defense, senses, and empower. So
they wouldn't get the trait during the pulse wave, so it wouldn't matter.
That's if Spider-Man isn't there. Oh no, because the team ability. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even no, I'm saying though he gets 4 through 6 on their stop click, not from pulse wave. I'm saying from being attacked.
Yeah, I just meant if they're being pulse wave.
Yeah, because I don't get that. Yeah. It's Surfer now is a 4 through 6 senses with shape change, so it's gonna be harder to hit him. Yeah, and he's a bruiser himself. 3 targets, 3 damage, super strength, and hypersonic speed. He's gonna be hitting 55 points. Is I think the exact reason why they made that instead of 50 is because figures that cost less get the Spider Family. Avengers is huge too. You want to have Avengers, you play that Legacy Black Knight. Now he's a 4 through 6 senses. He is being slept on 100%, giving out that Spider Family for 55 points. I think he's similar to Titania. Titania does a lot more to disrupt the meta, but I think he is an extremely good aggressive piece to throw on your team as an attacker that also your team benefits from.
This is a piece that I still want to see you build something with and make me a little bit more of a believer.
I know. Yeah. I'll have to do that. Yeah.
See, I remember I talked about that when he first came out, and I was like, "This seems really good." No one thought that. Like, nope.
It's
he just does some cool under the radar, and yeah.
I just don't know if there's the pieces are out there to complement him as well right now. So definitely keep him on your radar.
Yeah, that's why I think for this format, especially, I think that if you do X-Men, I think that you shouldn't just sleep on this figure. I think if you have figures that benefit from that Spider Family, he is 100% worth that 55 points because you're getting that secondary attacker that also helps your team if you have senses.
Right.
Even Avengers as well.
All right. Well, that's the main thing that we want to really kind of get across is trying to kind of bring pieces to the forefront that maybe not everybody thinks about. We play for fun a lot, but we also play competitive a lot, and we kind of want the meta to not be as stale as it can be. So hopefully this helps not only just this 3 versus 3 events, but just kind of getting people thinking a little bit more for even just 300 modern. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that segment?
I think that you've made it pretty clear. Like, yeah, I think we're all 3 highly competitive players. I steer completely on the ridiculous more so, but I still understand what I play is just a joke usually. But it's sometimes I know people think winning is the only way to have fun, and I have to disagree with that. Winning is fun, but playing some interesting teams is extremely fun, even in a competitive environment where you can surprise people. Like you may have just barely missed cut, but it might be such a unique build that people are still talking about. Like, I can't believe he pulled that combo off. It's
right.
I think that's what I I enjoy the most about going to these events is not even winning it, but like pulling off some weird stuff that no one's seen before, and they go, what? Like that's fun for me.
Yeah, if you're going to these big events and you're doing well and you're playing all day, you have to play something fun. I don't know how some people can play teams that are just boring and unfun and then play them to the top and play them like 7 rounds. That just seems miserable to me.
Yeah, that's why I had a silver team idea, which I'm not going to go into at this episode, but whatever in this
We'll
weekend.
share some stuff, yeah, but
Sure
some
do.
stuff
Yeah.
is going to be kind of held off until we get back and do our recap of the event. So we don't want to give everything away.
No, I'm talking about I wanted to play it for silver, but I'm like I just can't, and so I did it for an online event,
Oh, okay.
and I could not run that.
Yeah,
It was successful, but it's just yeah, which we'll go over in a later episode of why I can't run it, because yeah, it's just one of those idea teams that just like I could not run that for 9-10 hours.
Yeah,
It would
it's good, but it's not fun, and it makes other
Yeah.
people hate you.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
As far as news goes, Scott Porter did post a Facebook message today that he does have a brick of the Deadpool Weapon X set. So hopefully we start seeing unboxing videos starting hopefully Monday. Other than that, though, this weekend is our Playgroup's monthly invitational game, which, unlike the Scott Porter Invitational, it's an actual invitational event where you need an invitation inviting you to come play. This is something that we will cover here after each one of these events. It started a few years ago, and only with like 3 or 4 of us. But then after a year and a half ago, we kind of did a big event for my birthday. I think we had like 8 people playing it, and everyone wanted to actually do it again, which I was kind of surprised because it does take all day. But we started getting everyone together once a month. It might not be for everybody, but it's basically just a fun day where all of us friends get to hang out and play cliX for a full day. Usually we have about 7 people now, and it lasts usually about 8 to 10 hours. And then at the end, we do have a like big championship belt for the winner. It's something we kind of all look forward to. So before we cover this weekend's actual event, I just wanted to kind of touch on some of the rules that we use for this. So it's, for the most part, it's themed. So your selected keyword or keywords must be printed on the character's card. Usually it's just one, but twice a year we do have a multi-keyword event. And characters can still gain other keywords through other means for in-game effects. As far as the legal game elements, it's any carded character, but we had a couple characters or people that have older pieces from older collections. So we added a Golden Age figure point discount, which really has just kind of helped open up the pieces that you can play. And we just have a base 50% point discount on any point that's more than 25 points. So that's added a decent amount of fun to some of the games as well. All Silver Age and modern equipment is legal, and then we've banned a couple pieces just because they're just not good for the overall experience. And that's the D20 Felix Faust, and then the Grand Prize Apoc and Genesis, and then some elements like team bases, resources, relics, map bonuses, battlefield conditions, the elemental converter, mission points, mystery cards, all that stuff. Can't play those. We've done a couple of house erratas just to make it a little bit more fun. So one thing when you have a bunch of people on a big map is you can kind of just sit back and take advantage of the time. So pieces like Necron, where you can just support people up, we made that where it's only going to be in effect using Steel Energy or requiring like a KO or something like that. The Mighty Thor Mangog, you can't just walk next to your opponent's starting area that's only a few squares away. You have to go like across the map. Little things like that just to kind of help be able to still play a lot of pieces and not just straight up ban them. Another thing was just kind of sitting back and generating pieces. So we put a max 1 for any piece that's generated by another piece. We do Highlander. One thing that we did have to put another limit on was the rally die traits. There was one game last year that probably added another like 45 minutes to an hour. So we just maxed that at 10. And then sideline elements, we just made that. Basically, it has to interact directly with your piece. So shifting focus or Mad Gym, that stuff's fine, but you can't just put like troublemakers, trouble alerts, things like that. We don't do the Krakoan revival, anything that really takes advantage of points, just kind of all out. And then we do have whoever is the champion gets to pick their starting spot first. And then we just determine based off of 2d6 rolls who else is getting placed, and then the order after that. And then we do go back to the old school theme bonus. So whatever your theme is, that's how many plus you get to your roll. And then this is something that came in a little bit more recently, but we kind of start shrinking the map similar to like Fortnite with a storm that comes in. So usually it's the conclusion of the second round, and then after each round the border kind of shrinks until there's only a 16 by 16 area that remains. And then depending on the map and everything, the pace and the pattern, that kind of changes from month to month. And then at the end of each player's turn, if any have a piece outside of the legal play zone, it takes 1 unavoidable damage. Characters outside of the legal play zone can't heal, and characters cannot be knocked back or mind controlled to move into it as well. And then anything that is in there as the storm moves in, like equipment or terrain, automatically just gets destroyed. The one of the newer rules that we added that was kind of fun was the reigning champion gets to select one piece or equipment that only they can use and no one else can use. They don't have to use the piece, but then depending on what they pick, that'll kind of determine what some of the other people can play. So that's been kind of a cool addition that we did also. And then if I didn't mention it before, they get to select their starting location when everyone starts to kind of place at the beginning of the game. So this weekend is our April event, which is animal. So every piece played has to have the animal keyword printed on the card. The map is a combination of 5 maps kind of lined up together, and the center map is the prison tier map. This map has kind of like prison cells in the middle of it. Some people might be familiar with it. We used it last year for this game also, just with other maps surrounding it, so it's kind of a different scenario, or a different look, but same scenario. So the special scenario for the animal game is every player has an extra piece that is 50 points or less that'll go in one of the prison cells, and it can't be equipped as long as the cell door is closed. The piece cannot use powers, team abilities, or traits. And then at the beginning of the game, you give one of your pieces a key token, and that piece then can open the cell if they get to it in time. So we do plan on streaming the event on YouTube all day. So I'll post a link to that on our Facebook page if anyone has any interest in checking it out. And then we also want to give away a Kong to somebody. I haven't decided exactly how we're going to give it away yet, but definitely after this weekend's game, we're going to give it away for someone that either checked in on YouTube or something like that. So keep an eye out for that. And then I also post our builds and picks from the game after the event on our Facebook page. So that is this Saturday, and that'll be probably a good 10 hours, I would say. That is about it. Dan, did you want to throw anything in? Because Dan's one of the guys that'll play with this, and Pete will join us probably next week too to kind of recap the game as well. Did you want to throw anything in?
Yeah, so there's some fun stuff that happens during the events because people bring everything. Like, I mean, it's because it's Highlander theme, it's a little more restrictive, but I don't really feel that restriction when I'm building, to be honest. But I mean, people that we play with are pretty competitive. Like you said, it's me and you. Pete plays competitive. Christine obviously plays competitive. Our friend Ryan Harris is also a good competitive player. And most of the other people that come, like, I mean, so the heat gets brought every month. Specifically, like the first month that I played, that I think we had the 8 players together, was Mystical, and Harris brought the old school Scarlet Witch, where it's the double power action, and you just turn off team abilities, and no one besides me and another friend of ours knew what was happening, and it was great to see everyone's faces go, "What just happened?"
Well, yeah, because it was the Mystical theme game.
Yeah.
So it
Exactly.
turned off the Mystics team ability for probably like 90% of the people that had it there.
Yeah, so that was probably the to just start off showing up and oh, this is fantastic. No one knows what's gonna happen when the turn comes around.
Oh yeah, and no,
So that
the
was
best part about that though is right before Dalton's had some hard luck when he's come to these, but right before he did that and turned off Mystics with everybody, Dalton moved up. I think he had 2 Grand Prize Apocs because we did not have the Highlander rule yet. So
Yep.
he put in his 2 Grand Prize Apocs right in the middle of the map with the Soul Swords, and then he passed turn to Harris. And then he did the thing with the Mystics team ability, took it away, and then I think both of those apocalypses were gone when it came back to him the next turn.
Yeah, because I was able to mind control him across the map, and I almost got him with just that. Yeah, I think at least one of them got their clock clean before it came back around. I can't remember if the second one died, but a couple other notable events from this are the death card is always one thing that I don't think Ryan run the tarot cards in a deck and flip one each round.
Oh, that's right.
And
yeah.
that kind of affects everything. We took a lot of the cards out, like the points, other things that just aren't going to affect the game in any way. But for the most part, yeah. So a card gets flipped every round, and or like every full go round of people. So it changes the thing. Like the death card's always a notable one when that comes up. Just a lot of stuff happens that turn.
Yeah,
or nothing because no one wants to.
One of the biggest things with that death card was I think Rios brought the Wendigo. Started at 15 points. He either had it at top dial or second to top dial. That death card came up when he needed it after it got knocked down, and then it got, I think, one turned right after that.
Yep. Another one was we had a deceased Superman pull off 3 damage pulse wave for like most of the map, which was pretty solid.
Which that was right after, because that was, I think, the multi-keyword game, right? Yeah.
Think so.
So Christine was playing she had Orb on her team, and then she was also playing the Invincible Ant-Man. And so she flew an ant over and then used him to pulse wave and crit missed. And then I remembered about that crit miss thing from Orb. So she thought that she killed the ants, but then ended up actually using it to crit hit or pulse wave. And that nuked between that and then the deceased Superman pulse wave for 3 damage. It was like a double nuke on the board, and it kind of cleared out everybody.
Yeah. Another one was
Your Immortal Reptile.
Oh yes. So during the last animal game, I played Reptile, and I made it till the end, or like close to the end somehow. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. But Reptile revived about 8 times that game.
You're chipping away at that 150 point Wolverine from X Swords.
I had him between his 100-point line and 50-point line. Is that, or is it like 65 or something like that? I had him between his mid dial and his low dial, and Pete was getting kind of nervous because I had almost killed Rocket with the casket Panthers.
Yeah.
Because I crit hit, knocked him into a wall, but he was on his last click, and then I was chipping away at the Wolverine. So I unfortunately my luck ran out, and I just couldn't keep reviving Reptile. So, but I would say at least about 8 times Reptile cheated death, was able to keep coming back. So that was pretty good. Ryan talked about the rally die. That was the Snap Thanos. He just kept pulse waving to try to chew through all the rally die because he had the soul gem on him. Soul Gem's a big
38 rally dies.
Yeah,
Blade, right? Is what it was. Was it Blade?
Yeah, it was. Yep, and I'm pretty sure it's protected pulse wave. Can't kill him with pulse wave.
Yeah, so he was protected from that. So it was just like a back and forth. It seriously added an extra like 45 minutes to the whole game. So we added the rally die after that.
Yeah. Another one is the during the last monster game, you played Death Figure from the Undead set, and his thing is whenever a character would take damage, or no, takes damage, you click them one more click, you deal them an unavoidable, and if they what's it called? If they don't die, they heal a click. Well, Prime Hulk can't heal any other way besides via the Path of Destruction trait. So he was slowly just getting whittled away by this trait, because every time he'd get hit, he would take this click and then be unable to actually heal back up the click that he. So it was like him and at least one other figure that were just getting neutered by the Death Figure, and I think the Death Figure killed a few figures that way, where you're like, oh, that was my last click, and there it goes.
Yep.
So
I made a couple enemies out of that game.
It was pretty well. Granted, he was 100 points, so I can't really be too upset. The figure's very expensive for what he does, but just having a board wide, you're just going to take this extra one, and we'll see what happens.
I think he's 80,
pretty rough.
But yeah, he's not great beyond that cool
No.
trait that he does. But yeah, you'll hear us reference our monthly games pretty frequently, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of other things like that come up, because there's a lot of really cool things and interactions that happen that that definitely are remembered. There's some downtime, obviously, though, because it does go, I would say on average, Dan, probably like 10 hours.
Yeah, at least I'd say, and that's if we get going like immediately at like 10:30, 11.
Yeah, in the morning. So
another one that I was the main cause of was time dilation Spider-Man. I put the gauntlet on him that gives him power cosmic, and I'm pretty sure the majority of the board was shooting or punching. I just did not get for like the majority of that match.
Yeah, I think
And
Rios finally shut you down, right, with the Nick Fury, Balls of Fury?
It took Balls of Fury just being able to see me for the first time that whole game.
Yep, the first time.
And he took away my 3 dice power, the attack power that he has, and then I just couldn't evade. So it was pretty wild. It was pretty wild watching one Spider-Man go toe to toe with basically the entire board.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, this is not what I wanted, but okay, we are here. So there's definitely some memorable stuff that happens. This is one of those where between the format and rules and everything, you get some wild stuff that can, and you're just playing with multiple people. So there's times where just you think you're safe and then you're not, or you can make a big play happen because of something like the right tarot card comes up or whatever, and it gets pretty interesting with stuff that can happen. So.
And then I don't think I mentioned. I know I did mention that we let the champ ban a piece. But one thing that we finally had happen was we did have somebody that won, and then he wasn't able to make the next month. So we did let that roll over. So we're giving it kind of like a 1 month grace period. So Harris won February, right? Yeah. And so we let him pick a piece, and then my son Oliver plays with us also. He won March's game, the martial artist game, and so they both played Kong. So the first time that Kong would be playable, and I'm sure everyone would have played him, he's actually going to get double banned. So neither champ can play him either. So I'm pretty sure we probably would have seen like 5 or 6 Kongs on the board at least, though. So yeah, keep an eye out this weekend. If it is something you might want to check out, we'd love to have anyone stop by. Otherwise, we are giving a Kong away too. So like our Facebook page and just keep your eye out for that. So thanks for listening to us today. We look forward to going over the game next week and continuing our road to ROC Cup.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
Click it!